record, Professor, if you could just go ahead and state your name.
My name is Jorg Ajax.
Nice, excellent. All right. Would you prefer Professor Ajax, or can we?
Either is fine.
Skip the bullshit, and I'll call you Jorg.
Call me Jorg.
Jorg. That's a fascinating name, Professor Ajax. Confirm for me the packet we're using today, please, Professor.
We are using the coffee pot.
The coffee pot. Excellent. All right. Coffee. If I could use a fucking coffee right about now. Jeez, this is my 6th investigation today. You know, there used to be more of us, and they cut the department in half, and now I gotta do twice the work. Still getting paid the same, but what do you know about that, Professor? If you could just do the penalty for me, Professor.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to hear that more than once in a while. All right, good. And your identity. It says here in your file you're a professor of some note. What kind of professor are you?
I am a professor of history.
Oh, fantastic. Great. History professor. History Professor Ajax. Is that some kind of joke?
No.
In Ajax, one of those Greek guys? You know, from the stories or whatever?
I am only specialized in Chinese history.
Oh, alright. Fantastic. Good. Okay, well, I don't know anything about that, so this ought to be fun. At least it's only 5 minutes long. Alright, Professor, so here's how it's gonna go. We're gonna talk for 5 minutes. I'm gonna ask you some questions, and at the end of those 5 minutes, I'm gonna decide whether or not you are a human being. If you're a human being, you can return to your professorial business. If I decide that you're a robot, it's bing bang, Spinal Tap for you. You're off to the human factory, and we see if your insides match your blueprints. So, your job is to convince me that you're a human being, and then I can just stamp the human thing, and I can go out for a smoke, and we can leave this whole party behind. So it's gonna be either the best of the 5 worst minutes of your life. That's what she said. Let's get started. So, Professor, sorry, informally, Jorg. If you had to choose from all of the objects in a common human household, which would you say is the most versatile object one would find in a human domicile?
I think the knife is the most useful.
Really? Can you tell me, 5 things you could do with a knife besides cutting something?
Well, you could open a bottle.
Uh-huh.
You could look at your reflection.
You got a lot of shiny knives in your house, Professor?
Yes.
I got one knife. It's a steak knife. It's broken. Sorry, go ahead.
You should buy a new knife.
Yeah, I should. It'd be nice if I had money to do that.
You could perhaps use it to wedge a door open.
Uh-huh. What else you got?
You could pop a tire.
Whose tire would you pop if you had to pop somebody's tire, Professor? You got any enemies?
I do not have any enemies.
None at all.
None at all.
You know, most human beings have people that they don't like.
Oh no, I'm a very docile person.
Really? Is that so?
Yes.
How do you achieve that docility, Professor?
I simply don't overstay my welcome.
So you're just in and out. Business as usual?
I would think so.
So I think you owe me another use for a knife, maybe?
Ah, of course. Use for a knife. You could perhaps use it to hammer the handle.
I see. That's true. That's very true. So, Professor, there's not a lot of hands-on work in your job, I imagine? A lot of talking, a lot of looking nice, speaking to students and what have you?
A lot of writing.
Uh-huh. Let's play a game, Professor. Let's play an imagination game, shall we? So, you wake up one morning, and you find yourself in a room with no windows and no doors. You don't know how you got here. It doesn't matter. It's not part of the plan. How do you escape this room, Professor? How do you get out?
I think I would simply sleep until my soul left my body.
Oh, so death is not something that bothers you? The idea of dying alone in a featureless room?
Well, if there were no features in the room, then I don't see how I could get out.
what did you say you were a professor of again?
Chinese history.
Really, you sound like a professor of philosophy. A lot of context in Chinese history about people waking up in featureless rooms?
No, but much philosophy.
In Chinese history?
Yes,
Right, so it's like a package deal.
of course.
Give me another way to escape this room that doesn't involve waiting for yourself to asphyxiate.
Well, I suppose I would have to think very hard about it, but you could knock very loudly, hope someone would rescue you.
Uh-huh. Who would come to your rescue, Professor?
Perhaps police?
Is there a Miss Ajax? Yeah, maybe you get some baby Ajaxes?
Oh, no. Not yet, at least.
So, you would like there to be a family Ajax?
I would, in fact.
Not a lot of wifeable objectives in the professorial business?
Well, it's a very complicated affair. You wouldn't want to, of course, get into any trouble dating in between departments, and there is some unfortunate business with men who take wives of a different culture because they believe that they are, submissive.
Sure. I prefer a submissive wife type myself. My first two ex-wives, though, not so much. Let's imagine you had to kill somebody and hide their body. How would you go about doing that? And I don't know. Let's imagine you killed them with a screwdriver, just for flavor. What would you do? How'd you get away with that crime?
That would be terrible. But
We're not here to discuss whether or not the hypothetical murder would be terrible, Professor. It's how would you get away with it? This will be the last question, so make her count.
of course. Well, I believe that if I killed someone with a screwdriver, then I would drive their body out into the middle of the woods and dump it. I'm sorry for me saying something so gruesome.
So you just chuck them in the woods. I understand. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and require that you come in for some additional processing there, Professor Roboto, because you're clearly too weird to be human. Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna mark you down here as correct. So what were your protocols? What did you have to do, violent robot, Mr.
I could not
Professor?
describe myself taking any physical action, but I could use
Right.
the hypothetical you.
That was what I caught. I caught that, and then at the end, I heard the last apology as you were trying to finish the jam. Yeah, that was good. That was a good one though. Nice.
You didn't have to do that last time about driving into the woods. You could have said, well, you could, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You took a chance, and then you became a robot.
And then he became a robot.
I
well, thank
became
you.
a robot.
Thank you, robot.
Like I wasn't one all along.
Yeah.